Culturally relevant pedagogy rests on 3 criteria. The first is that students must experience academic success. The second is that students must develop and/or maintain cultural competence. And the third is that students must develop a critical consciousness through which they challenge the status quo of the current social order. Students must be able to achieve success in what we consider to be standard areas, reading, math, but we must also really work to broaden the spectrum of how we're measuring our students and what we're measuring them in. I think for students that come from historically disadvantaged communities, we must really problematize what academic success means. And we must detach it from the concepts of meritocracy that define what success looks like. So teachers must really broaden the spectrum of what it means for a student to be successful in the classroom. The second criteria is that students must also develop and/or maintain cultural competence. What we have are students of color from communities of color that are largely being taught from a white hegemonic narrative, and we must really undo that in our classrooms. As a second grade teacher, that means creating a space where students are able to explore their multiple identities, and it also means affirming their multiple identities. So in my class, we do a range of activities that allow them to explore where their family comes from, how their family identifies through multiple lenses, including race, ethnicity, gender, and class, and create a space where students can really try out these different terms, explore the vocabulary, and at the end feel comfortable affirming who they are and where their family comes from. The third criteria is that students must develop a critical consciousness through which they challenge the status quo and the current social order. And as an educator, as a woman, as an educator of color, I feel like this is where we must really push our educational pedagogy and praxis. Because I can teach my students to love themselves, to value themselves, and value their community, but in the end, I am sending them into a world where their community and their people, our people, have been underrepresented, undervalued, under-resourced, and we need to really equip them with the skills and the tools to understand why society is organized in the way it is, and equip them with different tools and skills and vocabulary to really push back against that. We must empower them, not just in the classroom, but also beyond the 4 walls of this room, because they are our future. And if we don't teach them to, 1, critique the status quo, critique the hegemonic order, and 2, how to push back, how to empower themselves and their communities, then we are essentially doing a disservice to them by, putting them out in the world without the tools they need to fight back.